Hi. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see your faces again. How do I even start a video like that? I just wanted to talk a little bit and share my feelings, and hoping that my feelings or my experience could maybe resonate with people, or, mostly resonate with people. If this video could maybe somehow, not that it'll be super helpful, but just help out some people who might be feeling the same way or have been feeling somewhat similar. I just wanted to sit down and talk because I have this lovely platform where I'm able to talk. So, yeah. Also, first of all, I just want to say, I released an album a couple weeks ago. You can go listen to it if not. Links down below. That's not what this video is about. I just want to let you know, just in case you didn't know. But today, I want to talk about my experience in figuring out that I'm gender fluid. But while also, as a side note, saying I don't know if that's exactly where I fully land in the end. You know what I mean? That's where I am at right now, and it's been such a interesting and actually lovely experience figuring something like that out, especially after being alive for 28 years and not knowing knowing it, but not actually coming to terms with a lot of it. Gender, I've always thought is, oh my god, I just hit my knee so hard. Okay, we're good. Gender, I've always not paid much attention to because I thought it didn't matter. I thought, like, for me personally, I know it matters in society way too much, but I feel like I don't care what people's gender are. I don't care what gender. Like, I was just like, I didn't care enough to think about if it would be affirming for me to call myself not like a boy. I just, you grow up in society as a boy. You're born a boy, for me. And of course, so this is what happened. This is how kind of like this whole thing kicked off for me. About like half a year ago, 6 months, some people call it, I cut my hair really short because I was like, I just want to cut it, switch it up. I haven't had short hair in forever. And for the summer, I thought maybe let's get short hair. And when I did, I had like a huge panic attack. I felt terrible. I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. And it got me really, really thinking about how I hated how much I looked like a boy. I hated how much masculine energy it felt like I was putting forward, just physically. Not only, more so just like how I presented myself, how I thought I looked. I look in the mirror. I hated, I always don't love what I see in the mirror. That's its own separate issue. But I really hated that I saw a boy when I looked in the mirror. And that really sparked something in me that was like, whoa, you really hate that you look like a boy right now. Yet you've always identified as a boy. And the reason I've always identified as a boy, like I said, I was born a boy, I grew up a boy. It's just how people called me. Like, people called me a boy. And I thought, yeah, I'm a guy. I have a penis, I'm a guy. But then I really just like started to think about my life and how I feel. And I really, really, really started to focus on gender and my whole life, and thinking about how when I was a kid, I mean, these aren't super gender defining things, but like as a kid, playing with Barbies and loving to, go. I would mostly only have friends that were girls. I would mostly hang out with girlfriends. I'd go on sleepovers with girlfriends, and I loved when they did my makeup. And I always went to school in girls, and I'd wear girls' clothes, and I'd wear girls' hats, and I'd get bullied for it, but I wouldn't care because I thought it was normal, and it was normal. And I also specifically remember this thing at recess. It was around grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, that sort of age. Every day when I would go out for recess, before I walk out of the doors, I'd do 3 spins, and I'd say, I'm Camila for recess. I'm Camila. I'm now a girl for recess. And that really, is something I hadn't thought about in a really long time. And then I really started to think about it. When you're a kid, there's no other motive other than just like being yourself and living your truth for the most part. I mean, if you're in a comfortable situation. And I just really started to think about my whole life, and especially even the last 4 or 5 years, coming out and and coming out as pansexual and figuring out that I am pansexual. And I always thought, same with gender, sexuality didn't matter too much, because it's like, who cares, just do what you want. But then it actually is very important to me, figuring out who I am, not only with my sexuality, that I've also been figuring out through this whole gender affirming situation, but your gender. So I had been thinking, once I cut my hair and everything sort of started flooding in, thinking about when I feel happiest and when I feel most myself. And what really occurred to me when I thought about everything and I really paid attention to things is I feel so much actually better when I present myself in a more feminine way, and when I exude more feminine energy, and when people treat me like I feel way more affirmed and happy when someone like calls me their girlfriend, or someone tells me I have very feminine energy, or when people I'm trying not to cry very hard. My goal for this video is to not cry. What I'm talking about is, obviously, it's still very fresh and new, figuring this stuff out. But what I realize is, and when I, not only like being called, girl or something like that, but wearing like dresses, painting my nails, doing things like that, being femme presenting, not that is what defines you. Being femme presenting doesn't define you as a girl or anything like that. But when I tap into that feminine energy and when I wear a skirt, I just feel so much better about myself. And so I'm not gonna cry. I just feel so much better about myself and so much more myself. And that's why I hated how I looked when I cut my hair really short. It's still way too long for me. I'm really trying to grow it out. But, coming to terms with how, really understanding like why I feel so much better when I present in a feminine way. I started fully wearing like dresses and skirts like 3 or 4 years ago, because I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a boy, but I'm so happy to still tap into that feminine energy, because I think everyone should be able to tap into, both energies, because I think we all have not just masculine energy in us, or not just feminine energies in us, and that is also what has led me to come to the point where I think that I am gender fluid. I had this thing when I first felt this way, really felt this way, like 6 months ago, and over the months thinking, okay, do I need to set a label for myself? How will I set a label for myself? And and this is for myself, not for other people. But I thought, first of all, okay, maybe you're non-binary, and I always thought about that, and I thought, because I thought non-binary could be a term that works for me, but it doesn't. That because I do feel a gender in myself. I don't feel like non-binary pins it down enough, because there are so many days when I wake up and I feel I'm not crying, I feel so feminine, and there are times where I do tap into a more masculine energy, and I do feel that way. So non-binary didn't feel like a term that worked for me, and that's why I landed on gender fluid. But what I also want to talk about is how I think I am still also so far away from figuring out specifically what does work for me. I think it's not out of like the sorry, I'm trying to compose myself. It's not out of the question to think about like being trans or something like that. Like that doesn't feel right for me at the moment, but it doesn't feel, I feel like it's all rapidly really grown in the last few months about how I do feel. So I thought it would be good to make this video, because I think people, and very luckily, and I'm very glad, so many people are outspoken now about transitioning, or how it feels to be trans, and helping people out with that and sharing their own experiences. But I wanted to share how I feel, because I feel like I am in the midst of like a really interesting and affirming change for myself that I thought maybe it would be good to share, because if I feel this way, I know that so many other people probably maybe don't feel so specifically how I feel, but you feel similar things with gender, and you feel like you've maybe been blocking out some feeling of, tapping into that gender queerness for a long time, and maybe my words are resonating with you. So I wanted to talk about that, and I also wanted to really put forth really drive home the point of, it's very okay if you don't know where you land and you're figuring it out, and even if you never figure out, if it's just like a lifelong journey of figuring out what feels best for you, how you feel most confident, how you feel best and love yourself most. I think it's totally fine to not know where you land, totally fine to not have an answer, because that's what I really struggled with at the beginning of really feeling all this, was not knowing an answer of where I fall on the gender scale, where I fall as far as being confident and comfortable with who I am. I feel way better after these months of really focusing on it and talking about it with so many of my queer friends, my gender queer friends, non-binary friends, a lot of my trans friends. Having open conversations with them has been so enlightening and beautiful for me, and to sort of affirm with myself that it's okay, that I don't know specifically where I land. It's okay. It's good that I feel gender fluid today. Maybe as time goes on, I will feel like, because before this, I was like, okay, I'm a boy. I just thought I was a boy who's very comfortable with gender and sexuality and queerness, and being queer myself. But then I never would imagine, like, all these months later, that I do feel like I'm gender fluid. And so maybe in 2 years I'll feel like I want to be a trans girl. I don't think that's like out of the question, because I think I feel feminine energy and femininity inside myself way more than I feel masculinity. And I don't know if it's the reason that I still hold on to a lot of my boyishness or masculinity is because I grew up that way, and it feels so normalized, not only in society and how people treated me, but also within myself. So I don't know if I push through that more and more, will I feel like transitioning? Will I feel like I could be a fully trans girl because I feel more feminine energy than masculine energy? But what I've also landed on through this experience of figuring things out is I do like tapping into masculine energy sometimes. I do like presenting, not so much presenting myself as a boy, but more so tapping into that energy, that boyish energy, like in a day-to-day. Like, I love not that sports and, like, rough sports and things like that is a mannish, boyish trait, because obviously girls do that a lot. But I love, like, playing sports and hanging out with boys and playing sports. That sort of masculine energy inside I really enjoy, and that's just one of a few examples. But yeah, I'm sort of rambling, but I just wanted to talk about that and talk about how, I think figuring this stuff out in the open, and if you're lucky enough to figure it out openly with a lot of supportive people around you, I think you should do it and should not shy away from it, because I feel so much better about myself today than I did 6 months ago. And what's also been really interesting while finding my gender, affirming my gender queerness, has been how it's changed my sexuality. Because I am pansexual. I still believe I'm pansexual, but pansexual for me, what I always thought worked for me was, I'm pansexual because I can like anybody. There's anybody out there that I can like, and that works for me. My palette is very large because I love so many types of people. But what I've really figured out while figuring out my gender is how specific my attraction is to other gender queerness. You know what I mean? How, because I feel gender fluid and gender queerness and maybe eventually trans or something like that, I am so attracted to that as well on the other front. Like, I'm way more attracted to people who are genderqueer or trans or non-binary, because way more than, like, you know, a cis straight person. Way more I'm attracted to that type of person than I previously thought before finding this genderqueerness. So, you know, coming to grips with sexuality, figuring out what you like more, that coming along with figuring out who you are in a gender way has been really beautiful and also very affirming for me. And it's so nice to find yourself more and more as you really open yourself up to yourself more. And yeah, I know I'm rambling a lot, but I just wanted to say all this because, like I said before, maybe you're feeling similarly, and I think about how I think it would have been quite helpful for me to, maybe hear this from, or hear someone's experience of what they've gone through with gender, to help figure out because hearing from a lot of my trans friends and gender fluid friends and non-binary friends, hearing from them has really helped enlighten me about how I feel. So that's why I want to make this video. Maybe you somewhat feel similar. And this was something that I had been struggling with for so many months. And then only like a month ago did I start opening up about it to people that I love. And now that I've opened up about it, I figured out that I feel so much better opening up about it. And now I do feel comfortable enough to share this on the internet, which I never thought I'd be able to. Like, I felt so trapped for months, so many months, just like trapped with this feeling of like feeling like you're waking up as someone you don't feel like, you know what I mean, and presenting to the world as someone who you aren't. And it's very sad and frustrating, and the more I've talked about it, the better I felt about it, and the more I've gotten to know myself. So the fact that I am able to even talk about this and share it with you guys is actually a really lovely step for me. I'm not gonna cry, but I'm very thankful to be able to share all this with you guys. And that is a lot of what this channel is now for me. I just like to have this little platform, whether a couple people watch or a couple thousand people watch. If it's something important or something I feel passionate about, I do want to share it. And if I feel like it's good to share it with you guys, I will always do it. So yeah, I just wanted to say all those things and hope maybe that it resonates with a few of you, or maybe you have if you feel comfortable sharing your story of gender queerness or transitioning or things like that, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I really want to hear as much as possible stories like that. I think it also helps affirming how I feel. And thank you for listening. It's really sweet that you sat down and listened to all this. It's been really nice these last months figuring that kind of stuff out, and I'm excited because of figuring that stuff out. As I grow my hair out more, just like I'm excited to present more feminine and things like that, and feeling like more myself on the outside, because on the inside I have felt the most myself that I ever have, and I'm excited to have that match more with my outer appearance. And yeah, that's I'm still working on videos for this channel. It's just the videos I'm doing now for this channel are very more long form and take a lot more effort, so don't worry, there will be videos up on here soon, I promise. But yeah, in the meantime, if you do want to hang out more with me, we still have the Patreon. Every week we watch a lot of stuff on there, but no pressure, that's not what this video is about. But if you're like, I miss Cam, I want to hang out with him, for any reason, you're like, I want to hang out more with him, I'll leave that in the description. But thank you for listening, that's all. I think I said everything I want to say. If I do want to keep everyone like maybe updated on how I feel in the future if things change, or I think that's the one thing I want to drive home, is that things change. Every day you might feel a little different. That's why I feel so fluid with my genders, because I think things change a lot day to day. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm really glad I could talk about this, and I hope some of it maybe resonated with some of you. And that's it. Okay, love you very much, all of you very much. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you around. Mwah! Bye bye.